No idea where the camera is. I'm like,
Good morning, everybody. I'm sorry. That's just adorable because right before the camera goes on, he'll be like, and you have like the cutest grin on your face. Sorry, I'm in adoration of my husband.
I'm starting to look like the guy from Mythbusters.
Okay, there we go. So now you can like look at the camera and actually look at everybody too. So
like I do during class.
Yeah. So
it's like I don't really see you there, but
my husband, the Muppet.
Well, we've established that.
Yeah. So, good morning. So, we are mostly awake. Vertical is about it right now. Waiting on stuff to arrive today so that we can do massive amounts of gift wrapping, so I don't have to try and continue to hide it. So,
yeah, we got but even I've got a couple of things that are just sitting up on bookshelves, like they're not ours, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, but it is. You got a little paper cutting ASMR here for a second. I have one for you.
Too long didn't read, right? People put that in the Dungeons and Dragons group on Facebook all the time. Too long didn't read. TLDR, and then they just kind of give you like 2 lines. This is what's going on, and instead of like 50 lines of exposition,
which is kind of good.
Yeah,
it's like, give me the Cliff Notes version.
Well, see, that's the thing is, like, a lot of people post there because they need help.
Yeah,
they need like guidance, like, what do I do in this situation? But if you're only reading like the 2 lines they give you and not looking at this is the scenario, so that you can help them, it doesn't really work. So I try to read like the whole post, that way I can give them some kind of decent feedback. But
so this is a bookmark that is on my Patreon right now, with a post about Jollibokaflod, which I have finally practiced enough to be able to say it, not trip over it.
Yeah.
Which is an Icelandic custom. And at first when I saw it, I thought it was a meme years ago. That one year that I did the Advent with the books, where I wrapped all the books and we all opened one and read it each day. It was all Christmas books when Isa was little. So that was how we chose our, holiday book to read. Was doing kind of a book Advent. But what they do in Iceland is Christmas Eve, they gift books, and then they spend the rest of the evening reading and eating chocolate.
Oh no.
So we are officially adopting that.
Twist my arm.
Yeah, we are officially adopting that. So book gifts will be given. That's kind of like when Joe, a friend of ours, came one year and brought a couple of bottles, and I was like, what's this? He brought me a thing of fresh raspberries from his mom's farm because he had been there to celebrate the week before with his family, and a bottle of champagne and a bottle of Chambord, which I love. Chambord, anything raspberry, I love. And it's like the best bottle ever because you can do the holy hand grenade thing with it.
Hand grenade.
Yeah. So, but his mom had a tradition. They had a tradition in his family that nobody opened presents till Mama had a drink. And I'm like, I'm on board. I'm totally there. He's like, can I share this tradition with you? And I'm like, so it's stuck. We've been doing it ever since. Typically it's loaded coffee. I am not a champagne person. That was really good, but not my go-to.
Right.
And it, you're all juiced up with the raspberries
good
first thing in the morning.
Or
yeah. So
for your
Brendan's
coffee,
or Bailey's or Kahlua.
Sure,
so that's what we
Bailey's-
do
Bailey's
now
or
is
Brendan's, yeah.
loaded coffee. So this unfortunately is not loaded, but
No.
it's what, the Javalia, or which one is
Yes,
it?
I have that right here, actually.
Dun, dun, dun.
That
We have like
is
5 different
here
coffees in the
for
house
us
now.
to share. Yes, this is the bright yellow Javalia bag of medium roast. We've had this one a couple of times now, including this morning. In a smaller 5-cup machine, about 3.5 level tablespoons. If you have a regular measuring cup, it tastes just fine, but you can make it stronger if you'd like. So
it's really good.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
It's nice and it's warm, and it's not waking me up because I'm ADD, and that has the opposite effect. I can drink a quad shot and go to sleep, but I think the mental thing of drinking coffee.
I think that's part of it.
Or what we call it when we're talking to Sandra as fika. Is Sweden. Sweden has this thing for coffee, which I am all over. I am there for.
Sweden coffee. So I mean, Javalia is the royal house.
Their commercials are too funny.
The royal coffee of Sweden. So yeah.
I need to adjust my camera here because it's doing the autofocus disco thing. So I've been making ornaments and different things for my Twitch streams. You've been watching.
I know,
me.
I have been
watching.
watching.
Me.
Of course, I've been watching.
Like, oh,
if nobody else is there, I am there. So because I do watch.
So hopefully that'll take care of the autofocus. This is what I had to download for the new camera, and it controls both cameras.
Upside down.
That's because this one's supposed to be upside down, and this one's got the little thing over it.
I see.
But the problem is with Logitech, and I'll have to troubleshoot it, is the thing doesn't come up when the camera's in use. Like if I'm using it with a different program, like Twitch or whatever, I can't control it with that. So I need to almost go back to the older one. But so this is one of the things that I made the big one first, actually.
No, that's not the big one. Yeah.
That's the big one. So this is and believe it or not, this is a half sheet for each leg, a half sheet of paper. And this is a quarter sheet of paper. But these are really simple to make and really beautiful. So those are hanging over the mantle. And then I've been doing this kind. And I did this on a sturdier cardstock, which was really hard to fold. And it was only 65 pounds. I swear it was felt heavier than the other, but I think it's 65 cover stock, not 110 cardstock. But they're really pretty. So I have these. So we have like snow stars and stars and snowflakes and stuff. And then I have the templates for these guys and made that one, drew on it first and did that. And then this other one, the first one I did, I painted. But I think I like the other ones first.
Drawn on?
I like these better.
Yeah, drawn on.
I think. So
a lot more detailed.
Yeah. And they're not really hard to put together. You just have to be patient, and everything's scored. So that's really nice.
Glue or tape down, and then glue.
A lot of people use tape and staples. Like
I wouldn't staple them, but
yeah,
I would think you could glue or tape them.
Well, for if you're like paper chain, my gosh!
If your tape's not garbage,
yeah. The paper chain, I remember we used to use staples or tape, and I'm like, no, I'm a glue girl. I want to glue everything. I have all sorts of stuff. So that was another one from the Digital Advent, is a little decorative house. And I actually drew this one while we were playing Puerto Rico the other night on we did a board game night on not Zoom but Discord, with some close friends, and it was really great because it was
awesome.
Board Game Arena.
Amazing.
Yeah, it was Board Game Arena, and so we had the game and everything. We haven't really used, like, I have an account on Roll20. Roll20 just doesn't work for me. Board Game Arena I like, and I found out my favorite board game is on Steam, or it uses Steam, and there's another
like a plugin
thing you have to download. That's not really. It's another thing like Board Game Arena that you go through Steam for Betrayal at House on the Hill. So we're going to do that at some point too, because I cannot wait. So that's one of the other digital advents. This is another one. Is I finally got it to print right. The little mushroom house.
That's cute.
So I have some other ones that I want to design for us and do a skyline kind of thing across the mantle where it's cut out. But so the little house was one of them, the mushrooms, because I'm doing I've had Gnomies on the brain. I have a Kickstarter that I'm going to launch here soon that's Make 100. They do it every year in January, and you make 100 of an item and do just a really simple, not a whole lot of add-ons or anything. And it's just, here's 100. I made these. Do you want to buy them? And they're limited edition kind of thing, which I used to do the limited edition stuff with Art for Cures all the time. But you can't do charity stuff on this one, unfortunately. But I will probably end up donating part of the proceeds to Western Kentucky, because we didn't get hit. We got a lot of rain. We had storms. The city alarms kept going off. I think they went off like 3 or 4 times, and
I only
at least
heard
3.
one alarm. And
yeah,
it was
you were
probably
passed
4
out.
a.m. So
you were passed out. And my mom started texting me at 3 o'clock in the morning. It was like, "Are you guys okay? There's no radar." She was glued to the radar. So I'm thankful for that. But she started texting me at 3 a.m. So I didn't get much sleep that night, and she kept me, abreast of what was going on. But Western Kentucky, west of us, Mayfield got obliterated. Bowling Green got really bad
with a group of
yeah.
government people a couple of days ago.
Yeah, it's really bad. So, and the best thing you can do is don't self-deploy. Do not go out there to try and help or anything. You need to support the people that are already on the ground, because otherwise it just adds to the chaos. And I have a bunch of stuff on my page and on the Brown Coat page that has list of links of how you can help. But it's just there's like almost 80,000 people without power, and I don't know when.
Mayfield
don't know when. Yeah, Mayfield is not there.
There.
Literally
it's
not
flat.
there. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
which is just
awful.
I'm gonna switch over to.
And the Midwest is supposed to get a bunch of tornadoes right now too.
Yeah.
I just saw a really big red spot on the radar on the Weather Channel yesterday, of stuff moving towards Illinois and whatnot. So they're.
Okay, there we go. I got it. Camera. Okay.
Storms are bad.
Yeah. I love storms. I love the sound of them, but that level, I spent hours listening for a train, because that's always the telltale sign of, it sounds like a train coming at you. And I was already like, okay, we need to be at this part of the house. We hear that. I'm grabbing both of them and hoping nothing hits, because the apartment's just going to look like a piñata. Death by paper cut.
Yeah.
Because the amount of books and paper we have in this house would be bad. So we're working on purging all that. But one of the other things I made, I'm going to go back into our focus today, which is traditions, is I have the start of this little banner right here, which is little oranges and pomegranates. And I actually, I kind of almost want to get a bag of clementines and make a real one, because they supposedly last, once you bake them, they last a long time. But I always end up making paper ones. This is a different one I made
Paper
one year.
ones last longer as long as you keep them clean and dusted.
Yeah.
You know.
So this one is
keep them in a nice little box or something.
You know, cinnamon sticks with oranges, and this is all paper.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's just brown construction paper I rolled and glued, and then this was watercolor on white paper, and then I glued it on construction paper, and just really simple to make. And then when it's hanging and it's leaning up against something, you can actually see it. So it looks like that. So that was a lot of fun to make. I made that. That one right there is probably 3-4 years old.
Okay.
Or at least 3, I think. But so it lasts a pretty long time unless you get it wet. That's the only time you have to worry about it. One of the old traditions, and I kind of want to bring this back next year, is for me, I used to love making these. And this is something really crazy simple that it's a styrofoam ball. And these are just little squares. And you take a straight pen, stick it in the corner there, fold things down, put pins in it, and move on to the next one. So it's literally you're layering it with pins. So it's silly easy. And then you just end it with a ribbon going around it. But I like
I think I've seen them.
I have the text
before
that I want
living
to do
here. I think we may have had a couple of them with a string coming out of them that were actually just.
I have a basket
hung on the
of them.
Hung on the Christmas tree.
Yeah.
Hung on a Christmas tree.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, if I remember right.
Yeah,
But I never knew where they came from.
They're fun
my
really
real mom may have made them, for all I know.
Yeah,
but
it sounds like something she would do.
She was very crafty. She would make ornaments. She would make Christmas scenes with like the sequins and everything on the like that could be hung in a hallway or things like that. She was always doing stuff like that. I used to have a necklace that she made at camp. That was a Native American necklace. It was black and white beads and then a black and white with like a phoenix on the front of it. I want to say it ended up with my other grandparents at their house. Her parents' house. That's where that ended up. It just felt like it would be safer there than with me, especially when I started moving around.
So what other traditions did you guys have with your family?
Nothing that we don't do already.
Yeah.
I mean, for the most part.
I know
I remember my parents renting a cabin and bringing the three grandkids that were already born up there, and we stayed 4 or 5 days at the cabin, and we were up in near Big Bear in California, at like a lodge, like a cabin, and we did Christmas there. It was difficult for us to get up because it was, the road was a little bit icy going uphill. But I remember like we had the trunk like completely packed full with like all the Christmas presents.
Yeah.
For like all of us plus the 3
grandkids.
And
rent a cabin.
I remember going out onto the front deck to look out on the street and just the big tall icicles from the water dripping off of the roof and then making these spindly icicles.
Yeah. But we haven't had this in a little bit. I don't know if we're gonna get snow this year. They keep saying it's gonna snow and then it rains.
I've seen 3 different times since about the 20th, about your birthday. I've seen a forecast for a snowy day and then it ends up being a rainy day or nothing at all.
Yeah, because we were supposed to get flurries a couple of weeks ago, and now they're talking though that we might next week. Did you say on the 10-day?
There was a day when I looked at the weather yesterday. I want to say it was like the 26th or 27th.
Yeah. So it's after Christmas. But yeah. I mean, we've had it. It's definitely been cold enough because it got down to 28 at one point a couple of times. And but I guess it was too cold to snow. That doesn't make any sense to me, but I get it. But it's just like, what do you mean too cold to snow? Isn't that the point? But I know, I know the science behind it, but it shouldn't work like that. So, as far as
think.
yeah, so as far as traditions this year, one of the things that we're adding in, years ago we added in Christmas Eve is chili, and that was something started by Logan's mom, my daughter's dad. He and I are still really good friends, and so we incorporate him in all of our plans for the terrible four, and now 5 because Issa's partner Josh, and mom, but mom always refuses to go anywhere. So, but I'm hoping that we're gonna have her Christmas Eve or Christmas Day this year. Thanksgiving didn't come, but she's got to come for at least one day for Christmas. We got to figure that out. We'll have to kidnap her.
Yeah,
but
you'll have to kidnap her because that's the only way you're going to get to her.
But the
just doesn't like to.
Yeah, but Christmas Eve is get together. Everybody opens one present. I don't know how I'm going to work that. Either the present's going to be a book, and we'll do Yellow Book of Flood, or that'll be a separate gift giving thing for Christmas Eve. So, good morning. My daughter just waking up, walked in here. But so but so that's a new tradition. Like I said, I've done that before with the not digital Advent. I've got that on the brain with the book Advent that I did the one year, which was a lot of fun. And I really want to kind of maybe that will be the tradition, is we'll pick a book and read it.
What, like a Christmas book?
Pick a book and read it. I still have, some of the presents that I have though are books.
Like a children's book, or like
because we had what was it, Snowman at Night. You remember those? One was a board book, and then we ended up getting a bigger version of it. And I actually talk about it in the Yellow Book of Flood post that I made on Patreon, which there is a freebie that I posted for everybody, and I will link you guys to that in the chat afterwards, or down below afterwards. And it's a cookie, just a good all-around base sugar cookie recipe that you can add a bunch of different things to. I want to get butterscotch chips this time. And I forget where we saw cinnamon chips. I think it was over at Amish store.
Was it there?
I don't remember. Kroger maybe. But yeah, Snowman at Night, Snowman at Christmas. One of my favorites that is on audiobook that I love, that I actually have the CD for, is Patrick Stewart doing the one-man show for A Christmas Carol. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Absolutely love him.
I've heard that.
Yeah, so I have the CD for that. Another one that I just found that I have, I used my Audible credit for, is Letters from Father Christmas by Tolkien. Tolkien. He used to write letters to his kids from Father Christmas, and there's a polar bear that gets involved, and there's that has a voice that kind of reminds me of was it Bjorn from Golden Compass?
You're Bernison.
You're trying to remember now.
You're Bernison.
Yeah,
Yorick
Bernison. But Shame on me for not remembering that because I'm polar bear totem. But he's Ian McKellen was brilliant in that. Yes. Him and Patrick Stewart together are an absolute riot. But hey, Bella, this Christmas CD's around the corner. Can you pull out the Patrick Stewart Christmas Carol? It's white with red and green on it.
It's red.
Or is it?
I've grown up with that CD.
Well, it has red on it. It has white on it. Okay. Because the picture online has the white cover, so I forgot. But yeah, that's one of my favorite things to listen to that kind of gets me in the mood. There's also the Sounds of Christmas that I found on CD finally that I have the LP for. I would love to get the LP for the Patrick Stewart one. And then we have, of course, like Bing Crosby and Frank Sinatra and Lorena McKennitt. There's a lot of older music. Peggy Lee was one of the ones that I grew up on. My mom still has the LP for that, I think. I might have it in the stack over there. I'm not sure. But yeah, it's just, we always, right after Thanksgiving, we start with the Christmas music. And I haven't been thrilled with the, sorry, Pinnacles, but I haven't been thrilled with your choice of Christmas carols that they have been playing literally 24/7 since Thanksgiving. It's
not even Thanksgiving, November 1st.
November 1st, yeah. That's right, because I was freaking out. I'm like, why? Where did all my music go? Because they weren't even, and they're not even, I mean, there's a lot of Christmas carols on there that I recognize, but there's a lot that I don't, that I'm just like, switch channel. Nope. That I'm not a fan of. So we usually end up having, Spotify on in the car. I have it on my phone, so we'll end up playing that. But music's a big part of our traditions. Caroling, really, really, really wish we could do Wassail Tour, but that's probably, unless they lock it down.
I was say going like house to house is not like.
Yeah, probably not. You can't find it. No. Okay, I may have it pulled already for pulled aside, but they do Wassail Tour here in January, and there's usually 9 houses on the list. You start at the first one, you carol outside, so the whole group sings Christmas carols, and usually it's traditional music for around here, so like Appalachian folk kind of stuff. You sing, they let you in, and you have your own mug that you take with you, and you go in, and this is a farming community, usually organic farming community around here. And the food the food is amazing. So it's all, all from scratch and just really, really good. So you eat yourself silly, and that's the whole point of it, is you're supposed to eat yourself silly. And grab some kind of warm drink, because the first year we did it, it was like 18 degrees outside. I ended up with pneumonia after that.
I thought it was less than that. I thought it was like 8 degrees, but
maybe
I could have been wrong. But
maybe
it was.
Snow everywhere.
I had 2 pairs of socks on, and it was just like, nope.
Well, that was before I found socks and shoes, because I was wearing
nothing. You were wearing
slip-on sandals.
Yeah, your shoes.
And so.
Yeah, no.
I am better equipped for the cold weather now, thankfully, because I found some stuff.
Wasn't that like our first?
That was our first winter here, which I've done winter. That's not a problem. It was the fact that I didn't have the clothes, because the lymphedema makes it hard for me to find anything that fits. So, but from there, you take that person with you, and they go with you to the next house. So you accumulate this group, and by the time you get to the 9th house, and you're singing, and you're, maybe some places they have a piano there, so you start caroling in the house while you eat and that kind of thing.
Or other instruments around here. You'll
Jennifer's sister has
people with violins and all kinds of stuff. Yeah, because people mandolin, or
and they'll just bring their
like mandolin, but like
Or Howard, he's got the concertina,
concertina,
and the accordion
just
and everything, and
some amazing stuff.
Yeah. Issa has her ukulele this year, and she had it last year too, but we didn't do Wassail Tour because of COVID. Like I said, I don't think they're gonna do it this year either. They might, but I think with because it's fairly locked down. So you know whose house you're going to, and you know who signed up for the tour. So, but by the time you get to the 9th house, there's a party, and there's loaded and non-loaded wassail. There's just what is it, panna cotta?
I guess I don't know. I don't remember. I've been there. I haven't been there in a couple. Yeah, panna cotta is a dessert. Yes, typically, but
and just a huge spread of
doesn't
homemade
feel
stuff.
like
huge spread of homemade
kind
stuff.
Of an odd choice of dessert
really
for an Appalachian community, but okay.
Well, now they have all sorts of different traditions here too. So,
this area is
Danish,
German and Danish culture, and I'm like, why are they eating panna cotta? That's bizarre.
Well, I think when we went there, Kent had been gifted to Kent. I think is what it was. So he was sharing it with everybody.
Oh, his loss.
Yeah, it was so good. I couldn't do it because but it looked really good. But it's got nuts in it, so I can't do it.
Yeah.
But there's plenty of other stuff to eat. But cookies, oh my gosh, there's like 50 different varieties of cookies, all homemade bread.
My grandmother
homemade
used
butter.
To make like 8 different kinds of cookies for Christmas.
And we're gonna have 3 different styles. Although I think the one Pizzelli maker, both patterns are the same.
What?
The Pizzelli maker.
What, on the one that's got 2? Or...
Yeah.
It's the same pattern. It's a different pattern on the 2 sides.
Yeah, but it's the same pattern.
It's the same 2 patterns, regardless.
Right. The other one I got, there's a company called Dash that they made smaller, like a mini waffle maker and a mini Pizzelli maker and that kind of thing, that I picked up. So we're gonna have 2 different patterns this year, and while he's cranking out the Pizzellis and the big one, I can do the little one, although the big one's mine too. But Logan got it for me one year, and I used to make because it was your grandmother made them. Because your grandmother used to make them, so I wanted to get one so I could have that tradition for you. And you guys chipped in and bought me the really nice 2-1, and then I made the dough the first year, and you did the press on it, and then after that you just took over and did the whole thing. So he's the Pizzelli king. So we do that. We still keep saying we're going to make the cannolis. We didn't.
Well, if someone else wants to make them, they're more than welcome to make them.
No, we like you making them.
Of course you do.
They're Panda Pizzellis.
Yeah, I know. It's like Panda coffee.
I make coffee too sometimes. Sometimes.
Yeah, when I'm bedridden. Not really, but I mean,
It tastes better when Panda makes.
I got to be incapacitated for you to make coffee.
No,
almost.
Not true. I've made some recently.
No.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Coffee wars begins. So what books do you have this week?
I have a couple of small sci-fi books today. I've got Robert Heinlein, Starship Troopers. Don't watch the film. Read the book.
Yeah, read the book. The
book is way better. There are elements, social elements in here discussing, what warrants citizenship. Do you have to serve your country to be a citizen? This kind of stuff. He was pondering this kind of stuff when he wrote this book, etc. And it kind of touches on those social elements. The movie doesn't look at that much at all. So you kind of lose that whole theme for the most part, unless you read the book. If you're trying to teach your kids something about society and you want them to read Robert Heinlein, they need to read the book. Don't show them the film. The film was terrible. The film was eye candy. It's not meant to convey the same thing. The City in the Stars. This is Arthur C. Clarke. Arthur C. Clarke is notorious for writing nice, thin, small books that you can read quickly. And City in the Stars is no different. This is 180 pages. I mean, it's great. City in the Stars is about the first human born on Earth in thousands of years, who is different from everyone else who lives there, and he is told by the society that there is no other people like him out there. And he finds out they're lying to them. And then he goes off on his own and goes off to the stars and becomes his own person. So it's an interesting story. A lot of Arthur C. Clarke's material is written serial, much the way like H.G. Wells was. They were publishing for gazettes and different things, and they would come out in order, in kind of chronological order. So once those were compiled, a lot of these stories are 130 to 180 to 200 pages. If I had to recommend something else by Arthur C. Clarke, Rendezvous with Rama, first contact story. It's a little bit thicker. There are 4 novels in that series, though, so be prepared to read more than just the one novel, although you can read Rendezvous with Rama all by itself and still kind of get a really good story out of that. So, but those are the 2 books I have today, both very short, easy sci-fi reads. Shouldn't take very long, so for most people. So, yeah.
So I have a couple of different ones, all different genres here.
Yeah.
And so I have three of my absolute favorites for young adult category.
Mm-hmm.
Fablehaven series. And when I started reading the series, I didn't know that the last book hadn't been written yet, and went insane. Yes. Went insane for 6 months waiting for this to come out in paperback, because I zoomed through these.
Well, you read quickly anyway.
But Brandon Mull, when we were at Imaginarium a couple of years ago, unfortunately I couldn't get away because I was teaching a workshop. Brandon Mull was doing a signing at the Barnes & Noble nearby, and I was just like, no, because I couldn't get over there. Really, really good book. It takes a lot of the old fairy tale lore and puts just a little bit of a twist on it. Mm-hmm. Easy read, love it, and nice big font on it, so you're not like cringing at 4 o'clock in the morning trying to read it. But Fablehaven, anything Brandon Mull does is really good.
There's another series he wrote after that, I think, and I don't remember the name of it.
Yeah, I have the first
one. So
there's plenty
of Brandon Mull to read if you like his writing style. Like I said, there's at least seven.
There's 5. For
this,
for the
there's
Fablehaven
5
series.
of the Fablehaven.
Yeah,
and
the last one's a little thicker.
Another whole series of something else that he's written.
Oh, there's a bunch. There's a bunch of series out. Another of my favorite people is Peter Reynolds, who I'm actually going to be interviewing. He has a bookstore up in Boston called the Blue Bunny, and he does a lot of educational stuff. But Ish is one of my favorites that I am constantly referencing when I'm talking to my students. Anytime they get frustrated with drawing or with doing maps and they're not sure, sorry, my camera is adjusting because of the white cover. But anytime they're kind of like, it doesn't look like I wanted to, especially with the map kids.
Reflective cover.
With the map kids get frustrated on, being able to draw something and they want it to look a certain way and it doesn't necessarily work. Ish is, this little boy is constantly trying to draw this vase of flowers and it's not coming out. So he's crumpling the paper up and throwing it away and crumpling it up and throwing it away. And his big brother comes in and is like, it doesn't look anything like it. So he finally just he's done. He's had it and he stops drawing. And his little sister comes in, races in, grabs all the paper off the floor and runs back to her room. So he chases her. And when he gets to the doorstep, he just dead stops because she's taken all of these, what he thought were crap drawings.
Was he drawing flowers?
He was drawing a vase of flowers over and over and over again. He couldn't get it right. So she opened them up and put them on her wall. And he's like, why would you want this? And she's like, it's Ish. So she has made this little gallery of all his drawings, failed attempts on the wall. And so she has this crumpled gallery, and she's like, this one's my favorite. And it's like, that was supposed to be a vase of flowers, but it doesn't look like one. She's like, well, it looks vase-ish, So he basically lightens up, loosens up, and decides to kind of shift his perspective. And I know this was a big help for Issa when Issa was younger and starting to draw, and not to be so hard on herself. And I doodle everything, and I'm usually like, I let it become what it wants to be, because the more I try to control it, the more screwed up it is. So that's had influence on me as well. But if you have kids that are wanting to learn to draw, or if you're wanting to learn to draw, that one is a really good one to read if you get frustrated. And then my other guy who I love is Nick Bantock. You guys have heard me talk about him a lot. The Venetian's Wife is my first favorite. This is my second, The Forgetting Room, even before, even over and above Griffin and Sabine, as much as I adore Griffin and Sabine. But The Forgetting Room is really wonderful. They have an audiobook that Campbell Scott had done years ago, but it's not available anymore. And I happen to have it on tape, on cassette tape. And I really love to get, an audiobook of it or something, but it's really hard to find. But this one, like a lot of Nick Bantock's books, also has inserts and has different things.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so his stuff is incredible. And in true Griffin and Sabine fashion, there's one here that almost is like an envelope, but it's got more artwork.
Hold one end while you hold
I got it. So this is his stuff, but it's young man comes back and I want to say inherits his grandfather's house, or his father's house. It's been a while since I've read it. I need to reread it again. When his grandfather dies, Armand inherits the family home in Ronda, Spain, and finds himself trying to unravel the surreal conundrum his grandfather has left for him. He used to do puzzles and stuff. Armand begins to remember his childhood art lessons, and gradually, as his grandfather's studio takes hold of him, he finds himself pulled day by day toward a most extraordinary elliptic link with his past. Finding art and text in a narrative marriage, Nick Bantock takes us to the Forgetting Room, where he teases us through a tale of discovery, revenge, alchemy, and Moorish legend. When I was doing the interview with Nick Bantock for Craft Paper Muse, which was an absolute dream come true for me. Sweet person. I mean, just absolutely sweetheart of a guy. I'm going to be doing an interview with his wife here in the next couple of months for another issue. And there is a Christmas issue that is coming out next week, so I will have that. It's going to be strictly online. I'm not doing the print ones for now. You can get the print ones on Etsy for the first issue that has Nick Bantock's 11-page interview in it. I went a little overboard. I don't care. It was an hour of bliss for me. So the Forgetting Room, one of the questions I asked him was, was that the name of your studio? Because my studio in our old house was called the Forgetting Room, and so it was his too later. But yeah, so this one's, again, like I said, one of my favorites. This one's a paperback. You can get hardcover for it. The audiobook is good for it too. So Audible has it. I'll have links to everything in the.
Yeah, but then you miss all the stuff that he put inside. Those kinds of books feel like they need to be in your hand.
I like both. I like both. So having that, but then actually getting to hear it and hear the narrative. Like we were talking, I was listening into Holly and Stevens' Star Chamber podcast last night, and they were talking about rest in peace, Anne Rice, who recently passed, and her work. Because Holly's a huge vampire fan, and so we were discussing. Oh, did you run out? You're out of coffee.
I drink.
No, you're out
I
of
drink
coffee.
pretty fast. Yeah. No.
Have half a cup.
Well, I would have gone and filled it back
half
up.
a cup.
No, we've got more over there.
I
know. I usually drink a cup fairly quickly. So
yeah.
it's fine.
He gets mad at me because I let mine get cold. But if
I want iced coffee, I order it iced coffee. I don't wait till it's colder than room temperature to drink hot coffee.
I'm usually busy doing stuff, so I'm just like, I'll get to it when I get to it. Sometimes I like the Post. You'll see me down the
Well, see, I'm spoiled. I worked at Panera for 12
Alley?
years, and we were supposed to Post Alley. Yes.
Yeah, that one I'll drink like.
Post Alley is the dark roast. The port side is actually the medium roast. But the port side, when you open that bag up, it smells like somebody's pipe tobacco or something. It's wonderful.
It smells really good.
Both are very good though. I'm spoiled. I worked at Panera and I was constantly changing coffee pots, and the coffee was always hot. I mean, like 190 degrees. Like, pour it in your cup and go. Yeah. And my coffee never got cold, like ever.
Well, you were usually having to down it and get back to work. Too,
I had to. But I mean, even when I had my half-hour break,
I miss breakfast there because
25 minutes, the coffee's still hot. It was 190 degrees. I put a little bit of half and half in.
Because I was riding in the morning.
And it's still warm by the time I finish my break 25 minutes later,
But we'd get there half an hour early so we could just kind of veg in and then clock in. And so he and I would sit and have some coffee or breakfast together. To make bagels, I prefer native bagel here in Berea, but the breakfast souffle.
It took me a long time to warm up to the cinnamon crunch bagels.
Those are so good.
And then when I finally had one, I was like, why have I not been ordering this?
I think that's their most popular one.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that and the Asiago cheese, which I don't understand.
Them.
Which I don't understand because, I mean, the Asiago cheese that we were using before they did the whole like clean initiative thing was, it smelled awful. Asiago cheese somewhat smells awful anyway. But I mean, it's like the stuff we were using was really pungent, and it was just kind of like, why would you eat that on a bagel? I just never understood it.
So the cheese bagels, they do the Asiago at Native here, and Kate, the owner, got me stuck on
the chive and onion cream cheese
with a side of bacon on an everything bagel.
Yeah.
Now, my favorite is the cheese bagel with the jalapeno cream cheese and blackberry jam. It's amazing. Katie got me stuck on that. Completely her fault. But she's won awards nationwide.
I think they're working
with Native
on
Bagel.
A new place.
She's already got Nightjar, which is a bar. It's cocktails. It's craft cocktails.
Nightjar. That's a cool name.
In Native Bagel.
Yeah.
So we need to go check them out one night.
Take a look. Yeah.
But she's also got a bigger project that she's working on.
I haven't heard much about that.
But Nightjar, she's got craft burgers and all sorts of stuff. Yeah. So I love Berea. I don't want to leave Berea.
I mean, the food here is amazing too. I mean, it's just.
But Noodle Nirvana.
Between that Noodle Nirvana, I mean,
I don't know if they're still doing the donuts or not. I haven't seen anything about Hole and Corner.
Hole and Corner.
While, but they do donuts first thing in the morning, and then they were doing noodles.
I would think that you could do really well with fresh donuts in the morning, especially.
And they're the little mini.
You're doing either curbside or delivery. I would think that'd blow up like catering, man.
Yeah.
If you bring those around to businesses and they're like, oh yeah, sure, we'll order 3 dozen. I would think
they had to get a second machine.
Yeah.
At one point.
Yeah.
No, I was going to tell you there's the, I don't, and it actually came up because Drac sent me a link to it. There is a house, and I actually was like, I really actually want to stay in Berea, but there's a guy in Jersey who's in his 80s.
Yeah.
He's got a 3-bedroom, four bath house. He's off the road.
Bathrooms?
He's got 5.5 acres,
Yeah.
I think, or maybe more than that. But he's giving the house away.
Mm-hmm.
It's a Craftsman, and it's gorgeous. There's, he's got 8 antique cars, self-playing pianos. He's got a conservatory. He's got, it's like $100,000 a year in upkeep. He's got botanical gardens, and he's collected stuff from all over the world. The house is just beautiful, but he hasn't been able to find anybody that wants to take it, because it's pretty much, you've got to be a preservationist to want to live there.
Mm-hmm.
Because everything has to stay.
I would think a house like that
and
would
everything.
be
And I'd be like,
registered with the historical society or something, and would require
well, he's hoping
a certain kind of.
He's
treatment.
hoping a university picks it up.
Yeah.
Because they can teach.
Oh, that'd be an amazing museum.
Could teach horticulture there.
Oh yeah.
As well, but
or anthropology if they've if he's
I'll
got
link
that kind
to
of
that.
stuff from all over the world. I mean,
the backyard looks like Bali.
Oh my goodness.
And it's all wooden walkways and greenhouses, and just it's incredible. And the stone walls and the concrete fireplace. I'll post a couple of links to it just so you guys can see it, but it's breathtaking. It was amazing.
I was just say send me that link later too. I'll take a look at that article too.
Yeah.
Only because I'm
he's
curious
giving it
to
away
read it.
for free.
Yeah.
He's willing to sign it over to anybody who wants to. They have
to
have
if you're taking on
100,000
of upkeep, then it's not really free.
Yeah.
So,
not to mention the bills too, because if you think about utilities and that kind of thing,
right.
so it's probably not something I want.
Yeah.
But I know Drac was like, we could all live there. Because Drac's like, I don't have $100,000. We could all move in there, and it's amazing, and it's got a back. It's got a back area, and there's a bunch of stuff on the property, and so it's big enough to where you could live a couple of families there and never see each other. But it was all woods, and it was built by the first female architect in I think in Jersey,
in New Jersey, or in
the area,
tri-state area, or
but yeah, it's gorgeous.
Wow.
But it's in Upper Saddle River, New Jersey. And it's a beautiful area. I think that's his name. I can't remember.
Huh.
I think that's the same article. I hate when they do that. It's like, this content only available for subscribers. Okay, then don't link it on Google.
Right.
But yeah, the house is beautiful. But I literally was like, I don't want to leave Berea. We're actually right in probably the best spot we could be in the state. The weather's milder than it is like in Richmond and Lexington. My mom's in Richmond. Logan was in Richmond. Now he's here in Berea.
Yeah.
And everything's within 2 miles of our house, our apartment, and we can just jump on the interstate and go 45 minutes and go to Lexington. We can go 2 hours south and go to Knoxville, Tennessee. We can go 4 hours to Asheville. Louisville
Yeah, it's
is
like what, an hour and 45?
2 hours,
2
pretty
hours.
much.
It's an hour and 45 to Cincinnati.
Frankfurt
from
had
here.
some really cute stuff.
I mean, come on.
You know, and it's a really neat area to be in.
Sci-fi
and I
city.
love, and I love
Jungle
the
gyms. I mean, hour and 45
Jungle
minutes.
Gym. Yeah, Cincinnati
Hour and 45
Center.
minutes.
IKEA.
I mean, yeah. Again, an hour and 45 minutes.
And the Hall of Justice.
Give or take. Yeah.
The Hall of Justice,
Hall of
which is
Justice.
the Cincinnati Museum.
Yeah.
They have a Ancient Caves
Mhm.
IMAX movie up there right now that I want to go see. I will, hazmat suit me up and take me to the IMAX because I want to go see the cave movie really bad. And that's the only place I can see it. But they have that and Jungle Gyms, which is kind of like if Epcot was a grocery store.
Yep. It's a good way
and
to
it feels that
describe
big
it.
too.
Yeah.
It feels like 3 Walmarts put together.
I mean, live fish,
sushi bar, live fish, sections, like there's entire like aisles of candy
from all over the world.
From like Japan's over here, Italy's over here. It's it's
the tea and coffee aisle alone.
Yeah,
is just...
I lose them in the coffee aisle, obviously. But and little toys and different things, and it's a neat place. So anytime we do an IKEA run, we got to go take a cooler and go by Jungle Gyms. So there's a lot of stuff within a couple of hours of here, and including the pinnacles and the mountains, and you're right in it. And granted, it's not like mountains out in Colorado. Appalachians are much older, and it's Appalachia, not Appalachia, because Florida, we used to say Appalachia, and we got here and we got corrected real quick. I researched it and found it out on Instagram, I think, through a post or something. I was like, oh, okay, so we don't want to look like complete noobs, so don't say this. We had to train ourselves, I remember. But yeah, there's so much here, and there's such a rich, deep history and deep traditions here that I love that we've slowly adopted, like the Danish Stars, making the Danish Stars. So it's like a 3D version
right over there.
Yeah.
There?
So I
over
have
there. Yeah.
My daughter made me some white ones because I still haven't quite got the hang of it yet. But
not quite gonna reach.
So yeah,
maybe.
So those are Danish Stars, and they have they're called Frobel Stars. They're in Sweden. They're in most of the Scandinavian countries, but Denmark is the place that we see the most here. And then I hit it with spray ink and made them these lovely purple and purple and blue and different colors. So I have these little Danish stars. I pulled that down last night so I could show everybody my last art stream, but I would love to hear if you guys have any, if everybody has different traditions. Where do you live, and are the traditions influenced by your family or by your environment? We're learning more about Yule goat and a bunch of other stuff from Sandra. Sandra is sending us more chocolate and a Yule goat from Sweden. But just do you make cookies? Do you have a thing about how, when, and how many, what kinds of cookies you make? We're making the pizzellis. That's an Italian thing. Although growing up, they were an Italian thing to me because my next door neighbor, my Italian mom, her aunt would bring stacks of pizzellis in cellophane with prayer cards on them. And they counted me as family. So I would always get a set or two, one for my mom. And, so that was a tradition. But I found out recently that pizzelli actually are more popular here in the United States. You don't find them in Italy very often. But they do have the other kinds of cookies. And I know you have a big cookie tradition with your grandmother making stuff. And and I picked up a tin of Danish cookies, and we were like, somebody put cookies in the sewing kit. It's one of the memes that goes around. So so I got a sewing kit for Logan for his so I have the Danish cookies. But it's our time for today. My alarm's going off here. But appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for stopping by and hanging out. And if you have any questions, I want to hear your traditions. So put them in the comments below. And let's start some dialogue there. And I'll have links to all the stuff that we talked about and to the digital advent. You can still get in on that. There's another week of downloads, but you have access to everything. Plus, you get snail mail too. So I have stuff going out, Christmas cards, and there's ornaments and stuff. So, but stay well, stay safe, wear your mask, please, 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 please. So people like me who are immunocompromised can go out. And wash your hands, be good to each other, and very, very Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Blessed Yule, whatever you celebrate, or even if you don't celebrate, stay safe, stay well, and we'll see you next week. Bye.